This topic is very important. Why this topic is very important? Because all I know is being black in America. All I know, ever since I grew up, all I know is being black. That's all we know over here in America. And some countries don't want to consider themselves as black. They don't want to consider themselves as that. They want to be what they are. Like Haitians are Haitians, Jamaicans are Jamaicans, Dominicans are Dominicans, Puerto Ricans are Puerto Ricans, Trinidadians are Trinidadians, Brazilians are Brazilians. So why should we embrace the motherland? Because all our years, all we knew in America is to embrace the motherland. They threw our whole consciousness off this country, which is America, which we belong here. And I was born here. All I know is here. It was generation and generation of my family being here. So, far as we don't know where we come from, that's the ancestors down the line. But me, I know I was born here, America. I know that I am some way connected to you melanated people or Africans, some way, because the DNA test most likely say West African a lot on there, Central Africa. But we right here, we got our own culture right here in America. If the Haitians can embrace who they are, Jamaicans can embrace who they are, why I can't embrace who I am as a black American? And a lot of times when they say American, they think of European or white folks. But that's why they add the black to it. They say, what are you? A black American. Some say African American. To me, it don't bother me. Either one are the same. But I prefer to call black American. Some say brown American, whatever. But as I call it melanated American. Many of these names, Also, the N word over here, we use that because that's to us is a very sacred word that can get somebody head bust who's not of our culture, but also it has power to it. It's the word we use. So through slavery, through hardship, some black people have been free. Through all of this all the warfares that we had in America, this is our culture. This is who we are. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that we don't have African DNA in us or Australian DNA. There's black people in Australia DNA in us and all the other stuff in us. But this is who we are. And a lot of black Americans is from 70% to 100% black. But over here, you're black. No matter if you light skin, it don't matter if you got different shades of melanin. You could be yellow, but if you got the Negro phenotypes, then you're black. You got the kinky, curly hair or curly hair, you're black. So with this being said, the Haitians embrace themselves being Haitians. The same with Jamaicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Trinidadians, and Africans, etc. Africans embrace themselves who they are. They got different tribes: Madenka, Mende, Fulani, and so forth, and Yoruba, Ibu, and so forth, and Hausa. So they got so many different tribes in Africa. They embrace who they are. Why we can't embrace who we are? And we over, far as the status and statistics, we are over about 50 million. About 50 million deep of black Americans. As far as dark skins, many dark skins, just like they look, some darker than Africans, some darker than those who are in Australia, in America. But we got a lot of dark skinned people, just like they got a lot of light skinned people. But we all black people. In America, we call black. And this is really our sacred word, black, because other parts of people who are of your melanin, like in Africa, a lot of them don't want to consider themselves as black. Some do, some don't, but America is the one who originate that. So with that being said, that word and so forth. And over here, all we knew is stick together as black people because we had a harder fight. We had to fight for everything we do. We had to go through it and recreate it out of the worst situation to make it the best. So we became inventors and with a genius mind, helped build America and everything over here. So black Americans embrace ourselves being black Americans. We should always embrace ourselves being black Americans. We are not Africans and others, etc. Even though we share some DNA matches and our haplogroup origins is African, most of us that's black Americans got African haplogroups. Some got white people haplogroups, Native American haplogroups, but most of us got African haplogroups. Far as science and DNA testing, we still are different in culture, and culture means lifestyles. You know, the way you move every day, the pattern. And black Americans were created through survival, slavery, pain, suffering, having no awareness of our deep ancestry or connection to the continent of Africa. So I consider us as hybrids, hybrids. We are a hybrid, which means a mixture of many ethnicities that's in our DNA. Because some African Americans might don't have no European or no Native American in them, or no other ethnicity but Africans, but different tribes of Africans in them. They might have Madanka, Fulani. They might have the Lula, from East Africa. They might have the Khoisan. See what I'm saying? Different tribes that's African, but it still got many ethnicities within them. And some black Americans have Scottish, British, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of Native American, but they still look Negroid with a Negroid phenotype. So with that being said, we still are black American. We got to create our own culture. And some might have no European, but have a lot of Native American in them or Asian in them. So with that being said, we got to understand this mixture will make us unique. Because what dominate our DNA is from 70, really from 60 to 100% dominate our DNA, but it's 70 to 100% that dominate our DNA. And this is how we classify over here in America. So this is what we consider black. When you over here, we consider what is black and what's not. When we're in another country, y'all consider what is what. But over here, this is how we operate. So we are a mixture of many ethnicities, melanated race, or ethnicities of people. We had to fight ever since we've been in this country. There's been wars and wars. And we fight verbally, which means with the mouth, physically, which means with the hands, the feet, and everything, or weapons, mentally, which means mental battles, emotional battles, but also spiritually. We had to use hoodoo, some say voodoo, and spirituality, which means God, a spirit, many words that's used for God, nature, spirits, For everything we do, we had to fight 10 times harder than other races of people. We are a culture of geniuses and inventors. We invented our own Creole, Gullah Geechee, which is the language I speak, which sometimes I can't fully say English correctly because Gullah Geechee was naturally inbred in me because I'm from Savannah, Georgia. So Gullah Geechee language and Ebonics. And we invented our own music, fashion, and style. We invented some of everything from the stoplights to the cellular phones, and some of our inventions was taken or stolen without a patent. Even though we don't know our ancestors through DNA tests and through, your genes, geologic research, They are in our DNA. Our ancestors in our DNA. Even though we don't know them through research, through DNA tests, they are in our DNA. Our DNA test connects with African locations, but not our actually tribe or family lineage in Africa. We need our lineage, but they don't connect us with all that. See what I'm saying? So these tests is guesses, so we don't get nowhere by taking these DNA tests. They just tell you percentages. It might be more than what the percentage is. They say 70% might be 80%. It might say 80% might be 90%. But they just give percentages and stuff like that. And they might say Nigeria, they might say Kenya, but what is my family lineage? Or what is my family line? Or family tree there? See, that's the connection that we need. So today we embrace ourselves as Black Americans through all of that. You gotta understand that. I want you to understand this. In our ethnicity is many DNA matches from Africans, Native Americans, like I said, from Asian to Europeans, but our dominant blood is black or brown. You're melanin from 70% to 100%, like I said. So today we embrace ourselves as Black Americans, not Africans, not Haitians, not Jamaicans, not Dominicans, not Puerto Ricans, etc. But Black Americans is who we are. And we are very proud of who we are because the Black American culture influenced the world and it's a superpower. I say the Black American culture influenced the world and it's a superpower. We are the culture. We built America, our ancestors. So America is our land. Every Black person in the world, wherever they stay, has their own tribe, identity, and culture. And they belong on that land. I mean, all over the world. They belong on that land. So do us as Black Americans. So it's respect. I respect Africans. I respect Haitians. I respect Jamaicans. I respect all those blacks or your melanated people in other lands. I respect them. So, but they have to respect us because we're not just going to just like down or lay down. You know what I'm saying? If y'all are truly brothers or sisters or cousins, you got to respect us and our identity and our culture. We do have culture because it's imitated all over the world, or why we're a superpower. So the African diaspora wars need to stop because we are our own ethnicities. We are our own ethnicities, which means you're Haitian, you're Jamaican, you're Brazilian, you're Honduras, whatever. You could be Afro-Honduras, Afro-Brazilian, whatever you may be, but we are our own ethnicities. And be proud of whatever land you own, you make the best out of it. Because there's no need to fight with our own culture. Everybody has their own culture, own style. So what we fighting for? If we operate like this and you operate like that, what are we fighting for? We're not trying to imitate nobody, so stop fighting. You're melanated people. Stop fighting. There's good and bad in every culture. I said there's good and bad in every culture. Black Americans are diverse, which means our variety in our culture. We got many different styles, lifestyles, spirituality, many different people, Black people in different religions. We think different, many and identities. You know what I'm saying? Some Black people in America consider themselves as Indians. I don't know nothing about Indians. I just know that I'm Black. But they consider themselves Black Indians and different things, but all I know is being Black. Ever since I grew up by being Black and about Black power and Black this and that. You know what I'm saying? So there's no being put in a box. Nobody worry about finding our ancestors because it's in our DNA. We don't have to worry about that, about finding our ancestors. We are proud that we are Black Americans, but we have no idea. We have no idea we would be Black American, but we are. We are Black Americans, and we embrace it. We are very expressive people and can be arrogant with confidence. Some black Americans claim to be Indians, Hebrew, Israelites, and many more. But at the end of the day, regardless of what they claim, they are black Americans, or you're melanated Americans. From the yellow to the red black Americans to the light brown black Americans to the brown black Americans to the dark brown black Americans to the real black Americans, the jet black Americans. So it goes on and on. We can't stop that. So this is how it goes, people. So with that being said, we create our own identity, our own rules, and our own culture. So with that being said, our focus was on the motherland now, because a lot of us were wearing African medallions, all about Africa, till they threw our minds off of our own land, which is America. Today, we embrace who we are, which means black Americans, black people. We like to use the word black. Many other words, too. So that being said, I'm out.